Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be reviewing Swarm 5. Yes, we're going to be reviewing Swarm 5. Girl, bye. So if you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and turn on all post notifications so you'll be sure to get more reviews just like this one. So in this episode, it starts out with Miss Dre going into a phone shop in the mall. It really doesn't say where she is at the moment, but as she is in the phone shop, she starts to talk to this gentleman who is serving her, and she's a customer, and she asks him to check out her phone. So he's watching a show before he even attends to her. And of course on the TV, it's Nyjah. So Dre gets his attention, and then Dre says, "Hey, can you fix my phone?" And he says, "Oh, honey, you cracked this phone." Then he asks Dre her name, and she says her name is Marissa, and she gives him her last name. And then he looks her up in the system, and he can't find her. And after that, he asks her for her phone number, and she gives the phone number, and he looks the phone number up in the system. He ends up telling her that the phone number has been disconnected, and it will be no longer a phone number for her to retrieve, and it'll be gone in 10 days. So he ends up telling her that Leon Harris disconnected the phone. So you can tell that Dre starts to get upset. Then she starts to offer him money, and he refuses the money. And then she brings out more money. And then he says, "Well, I'll just call Mr. Leon Harris." And Dre slaps his hand and tells him, "Oh, no, you're not calling Leon Harris." So he stops and tells her that he feels uncomfortable right now and steps back. And then the series begins. So Dre walks out of the store upset into the mall area, and she starts and sees a concert schedule posted on a banner in the mall. And as she does this, she sees the friend who was from the first episode, who was in charge of the shop that was in the mall. And the friend recognizes her and says, "Dre, where have you been? Da 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 da." And Dre just looks at her, gives her this look, and she hugs her. So then she asks her, does she want something to eat? And they go to the food court and they start to eat and talk. So she's all happy to see her, and she tells her that she recently had a baby, because Dre's looking at her because she's a little bit overweight now. And she recently had a baby, and she had a baby from Khalid's older brother, Talib. And she was like, Khalid had a brother? So she was kind of confused. And then she sits there and they have a little small talk, and they start talking about and eating over their lunch. And as they're eating over their lunch, she notices that Erica, who is the friend from the mall, has a tattoo now, and it's a tattoo of Marissa. She says she got the tattoo in order to remember her, and that she was sad and she didn't see her at the funeral. So they continue to talk inside of the mall in the food court, and then Dre comes up and starts talking about what she's been doing. So Dre starts to tell this story about how she left to travel and see the world, and that she became a famous makeup artist just like Marissa had dreamed of doing. Dre starts to tell her that she ended up meeting the star, and she started doing makeup as an assistant to the assistant. And then after she started doing makeup as assistant to assistant, she ended up meeting Nyjah's mother. So Dre continues the story and says that Nyjah's mother was so excited to see her and thought she was a nice girl. And she told her the story about Marissa, and she asked her if she wanted to go to lunch with them. And Dre ended up going to lunch with Nyjah's mother, so she said. And then she said after she met Nyjah's mother, she ended up meeting Nyjah herself. All along while she's telling the story, she's crying, and she's upset about it, and she's excited about it all in one. And she says Nyjah gave her this big hug and took her in, and now she's this big makeup artist. Dre went on to say she continues to do Nyjah's mother's hair, and she was so excited, and she was living her dream. Well, during the process of the story, Erica's just staring at her, and she's just looking at Dre, and she's looking at, like, I guess she's not believing it, or she may be believing it, but whatever it may have been, she wasn't really buying it, but she didn't say so. She just told her she was glad and congratulations. And then the weirdest thing happened in this episode, where Dre takes a sip out of her drink. or gets her drink, and then she gives it to Erica, and Erica drinks out of it. Then there were two birds at the end eating food. So y'all, I don't know what that meant, but I guess it meant something, but that's what that was about. So in the next scene, Dre goes to driving and she drives to this home, but we really don't know whose home or what home it is. She seems to see the home. She climbs up the ladder and she breaks in the window and goes into the house. So when you get in the house, Dre sees pictures. There are pictures of Marissa. Her room is the same way that Dre left it, or that Marissa left it. And she's starting to go through her things and look through her things and, reminisce on things. And then she goes in the big bedroom, and we now know that it is Leon Harris's house. So Leon Harris is Marissa's dad. And then there's a picture of Leon, Patricia, and Dre staring at the picture of her and Marissa. And Dre goes in there and she eats and she sleeps and she does all kinds of things, just waiting. So Leon Harris and Patricia come back into the home, and I guess Patricia didn't recognize that they had left the light on. And so Leon goes in the back and Patricia's sitting there watching TV. And meanwhile, Dre has retrieved a weapon and come towards Patricia and sat to her and told her, "I want this phone turned on." The nerve of her to want the phone turned on. So Patricia's looking at her, not even really staring at her, just sitting there, just waiting and just chilling. And so out of nowhere, Leon comes from the back and he comes with him a weapon and he starts just blasting at Dre. And Dre starts to run. She never does anything to Patricia. She's just sitting there staring at her, she was holding the weapon on, and then she got up and started running. Well, Dre runs through the house and runs all through the house, and while she's running through the house, Mr. Harris steady cussing and shooting, steady cussing and just firing, just steady cussing and doing things. He just cussing. He doesn't want her in there. He not turning on no phone. And they going back and forth, and she's fearful and just running. Finally, Drake jumps out of the window, falls down out of the 3-story home, hits the ground. In the mix of that, hurts her leg and limps off while he's still doing whatever he's doing, fussing and getting her out of his house. He's just not having it. So we really didn't know actually what was going on, but all we know is that she jumped out that window and got on the way. So y'all, I don't know what that was about, but Dre done went back home, done met everybody, met Erica, talked to Erica in the mall, gave it a small confrontation with the guy in the phone place, went back to Carissa's home, broke into the house, did all kinds of stuff she wanted to do in the house, thought she was going to force them people to turn her phone on, and all this was about a phone. She wanted that phone back on because she needed that information in that phone so she can get in that group and see what's happening in that group, because she has no idea what's going on in that phone. So I'm going to leave it right there. And I hope you guys go ahead and check out episode 5 so that you get sure to catch up. But I just wanted to review this and some of those symbols and some of those things that were in the series, and just try to figure out what's really going on. Because really now we have finally get a chance to kind of like get to know the characters that we didn't know in episode 1. We didn't even know about Leon Harris or Patricia Harris. So now we know about them. We're going to see in the next episode what happens. And I hope y'all enjoyed this review. And if y'all don't mind, go ahead and hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on all post notifications so that you'll be sure to get more and more reviews just like this one. Now, I'll see y'all in episode 6.